Alright everyone, welcome back to some more of The Great Ace Attorney 2. And after being hit with that incredible crazy twist that Lord Van Zieks is apparently involved in all this commotion, we're gonna have to find out what's really going on and see how it goes from there. So if anything else guys, I hope you all continue to enjoy watching, and let's keep it going. Alright guys, and we are back. So we're now gonna move on to another area. I think it's the Fresno area. There you go. 1st of November, room on Fresno Street. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened then. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I hope he's not dead. Like, I hope it's just a red herring. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps this investigation have taken him elsewhere. Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers gotta be taken right out so you can take underneath and all. You can look underneath and all, sorry. I want the space above this ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey! Ain't you like never gone over a house looking for dough when the owners are out of town? Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that at of his and then just scarpered. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right? Yes. Why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are ya? Oh. Poor Gina. She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Otto. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. Alright, let's get to it. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold water. Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. No, that's right. It's one or the other. This looks like some sort of notice board or something. And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, look! This? You mean, it's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, and this one here! Oh yes, the advertisement you mean, to the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason. Alright, how about this guy? Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. Poor man, he can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work then. Okay, hold on. There's a few other things to check out here. Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah! What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are! Look, Mr. Naruhodo, quickly! Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Of course she's familiar. We met her only this morning. Ah! It's Mrs. Vigil! This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say I have no idea either. Could she be the wife of Gregson? Or is she related to him in some way? So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right. The rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. And would probably be under Dr. Zieks' scalpel by now if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with the bloodstain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can even be worse than reality. Chisato-san is so strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does it. You could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. How about this guy? Excuse me. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind, look! I suppose if a bullet had hit it. It does seem like that the bullet hit the candle. Having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh, now that wax in the wall looks like blood to me. Alright, we got more evidence now. How about this thing here? Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Oh! Funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! It is! A bright red hairpiece! And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And it's such a flame-colored red, too. Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly! This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it! Ah, with the gun. This is presumably the murder weapon, then. Oh! Oh my! It is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot! No. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer to just ask someone who might know, I think. And then I guess it's the figurine, that's all that's left. Oh, what's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it, in a way? Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zieks playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful, after all, in a way. I think we got everything. There he is. 1st of November, local prison cell number 1. There he is, Lord Van Zieks behind bars. So it's true. He really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zieks. Fancy meeting you here. The last place on earth I'd like to be with the last person on earth I'd like to see. That rhymed. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? This? The yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Let's find out some truth here. What happened? Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know? We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street. And that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room, and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But, the gunshot? Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. Oh. After all, you're not representing me. He is going to need a lawyer, though. Oh, so we're going to end up defending you, too, huh? Ironic. Who's going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not. I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. Your stupid little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me that he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now. He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer, however. I trust no one. What? Not the police? Not the judiciary? Ah, the J's. And not you, Nipponese. But please. I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Okay. Alright guys, I was trying to figure out what went wrong, and it turns out I didn't get a chance to converse with Gina. That was my issue. Okay, here we go. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what, half a year since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up on me diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Shumps twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend in the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case just like that. He did? Yep, and ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but it's always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half of this case is working on here, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So, what's the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to the fellow, where his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he's respected the bloke. I didn't realize Grayson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He said something else to me and all, that I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, cause he only goes after people what are bad. It did kinda get my mind at ease when he said that. Right. You know, I can't believe I forgot to speak to her. What's this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's being rented by some cove called High Boone. Oh, sorry, Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an identified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right? All the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see there's a few things that hint at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. I see that's where the poor inspector was found, over there. Yeah, that's right. They said there's a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. And the guns used there on the floor, it's the Reapers in it, no denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big bright eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway. Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll begin a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? Doubt it. The lads at the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Alright, now I should be able to meet with Strongheart. There you go. 1st of November, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. Hey. Kazuma-sama! Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news? About the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson? I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not. It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial's tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Kazuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecution. Wait, what? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. When we come back, we're going to finally talk to Lord Strongheart here and hopefully get a little insight to what's going on, especially with our good friend Kazuma over here. So thank you again, and until the next one.